What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. It's another beautiful day. We're out here in the panhandle of West Texas. We're actually heading all the way down to Big Bend. We're going to do a little bit of off-roading in the Hummer, just find some cool trails, maybe some primitive campsites. And it was looking like a lot of the campsites and stuff were really blown out. All of the COVID restrictions in Texas have been lifted, and so everybody's out and about. Sunday night, Monday night, I'm going to be teaching astrophotography, so that's another reason that I'm going down here. But I did want to get the Hummer out now that we got the wheels and tires on it, and just try it out on some really light off-roading. No rock climbing, nothing crazy. Like I said, when I got the truck, we're not going to be doing anything wild in it. We are going to do a little bit of overland camping. I got the back all set up as a good little sleeping area. Yesterday, I actually cut the headrests out. The rear headrests, they don't pop out like a normal vehicle, so we had to take a Sawzall and cut those out. I didn't get any video of that, I'm sorry, but we cut the headrests out, and it gave us almost an extra foot of sleeping space back there, which is really nice, because those headrests, when they folded down, they were just kind of in the way. I'm sorry if it's a little loud in here. I'm on the highway, and the Hummer has like, it's like 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 thick pieces of weather stripping, and I still get really bad wind noise. The truck might have been built at the factory by AM General, but it definitely has the heart and soul of an early 2000s GM crap box. Hey, I love the truck. It's awesome. It's doing me really good. Aside from the fuse problem that we had a couple videos ago, the truck has remained really solid. Gas mileage isn't that bad. I'm getting about 14 average on the highway. It's not great, but that's with the new wheels and tires. But anyway, I got about 3 hours until I'm down in Big Bend. I'm meeting a couple of my photographer friends. I have my buddy Kenny that I did a video with in Big Bend a couple of years ago. Him and his buddy Brian, they are a group known as Photo Roamers. They do photography workshops similar to the one that I'm going to do this weekend, but that's all that they do. They just travel the United States and they do these photography workshops, and it's awesome stuff that they do. So in addition to those guys, Kenny and Ryan, I have a couple other photographer friends that might be coming down. My friend Nat's going to be there. She has built her truck out for some overland camping, and she's also a great photographer, so she's going to be down there with me. Hopefully, if there's some open campsites, they have like 40 miles of road that is kind of a 4x4 road with primitive campsites scattered along the road. One site has some old ruins, another one has like river access, and I've never done a lot of stuff inside Big Bend specifically. I think we might hike back to the Waterfall there. It sounds like it should be a lot of fun, so I'm gonna mix in some car stuff with some of the adventure stuff that I like to do. If you're here specifically for cars, you might just skip this one, but depending on what we get into, maybe I'll get to have some cool shots of the Hummer as well. So I just got here, and it's even busier than I anticipated. I knew it was gonna be pretty busy because several of my other photographer friends that are doing workshops this weekend talked about how quickly everything got booked up. So all of the lodging and everything around here is booked up. And check this out. It says the campgrounds are full. So I don't even know if I'm going to be able to camp even in the back country. All the signs say the campgrounds are full. So that doesn't mean I can't still go in and enjoy the park, maybe find some of those kind of backcountry roads, go explore, go try the truck out, see how it does. So I'm not sure where I'm going to camp tonight. So I just got my pass, I got paid up, and it's only $30 for 7 days, which is actually awesome. I thought it was 30 bucks for just the one day, and then when he handed me my ticket back, he said this is good for the next 7 days, and so that was much more reasonable than $30 for one day. He also said if we drive all the way to, I guess, the main headquarters, it's about 30 miles in, that there's a chance that I might be able to get some of those primitive campsites that he wasn't sure. They are full up for RV camping and tent camping, apparently. There's a lot of people. The line was very long. I waited in line about 15 minutes just to pay to get in. So I'm gonna drive in and see if we can get a pass for camping for the next 2 nights. This place is huge. I hope they have a gas station inside of here. You know, that's 10 or 13 miles a gallon is getting eaten away just trying to get up here to the actual office. We got almost a full tank. I filled up in Marathon. That was the last town right before this. And it's a 32-gallon tank. I can get anywhere between you know, 320 to, you know, 350 miles out of that tank. But gosh, it's like 50 miles just from Marathon all the way to the headquarters here. And then I won't be going back to Marathon, I'll be going out the other direction towards Alpine, but it's probably 50 miles to the gas station there. So I gotta assume that, you know, somewhere along the line we've already eaten up 100 miles. And some of the roads and things I want to drive on are close to 40 or 50 miles. And so that's another 100 miles. So we're already past half a tank right there. So pretty sure I'll be fine, but you know, it's I'm ready to get the roof basket on top of the truck and get some extra fuel tanks for these extended trips, just to be extra safe, because you do end up eating a lot more fuel than you think about. And it really is a beautiful day to be in Big Bend too. The clouds are awesome. We have tons of layers. It's not a good day for this guy. It's probably speeding. They are very strict about the speed limits. My last speeding ticket was actually in Paladuro Canyon. I was going, I guess, 35 and a 25. I had no idea I was speeding. 35 seemed like a more than reasonable speed. And that was the last speeding ticket I ever got, years and years ago.
Hello.
Howdy.
So we're kind of hoping that we can still find some primitive roadside sites that were first come, first served.
Yeah, what kind of car do you have?
I'm in a truck with four-wheel drive and a Hummer.
Okay.
We'll be at the same site though.
Is a Hummer four-wheel drive?
Yes.
I assumed. Okay. And
Yes.
somewhat, and well, probably a lot high off the ground.
It's just a
Yeah,
blind spot.
that can take two, and it is available.
Okay.
Okay.
Wanna do that one?
Yeah, let's do that one.
That's so cute. Oh, that's so cute.
Okay, so we got really lucky. They actually have one of the campsites that Natalie over here was looking at before this trip. It wasn't the one we really wanted, but as busy as this place is, I think they only had two. And it's apparently kind of an off-road 4x4 only thing, so that should be a lot of fun to do in the Hummer. But I wanted to show you Natalie's setup in here. So this platform that she sleeps on actually can slide out and go underneath all this to make way more space. So yeah, you can see this is a really cool setup. So we're going to go to the campsite. I need some lunch really bad. I'm starving. So go make some food and find some places to shoot some pictures. Well, we got lucky. There's actually a gas station right down from where we checked in. It's a little pricey. $3.19. Everywhere else was, I don't know, around like $2.30, pretty much the whole way up here. So we only need about, I don't know, a quarter tank, so it's not too bad. Better to be safe than sorry. So we're on our route to our campsite. I don't have very much cell signal here, but Kenny did just text me, and so he's gonna meet us down the road at this intersection that eventually gets over to our campsite. So we're gonna see about maybe finding a cool sunset spot, and I'm really hoping for a good sunset. Look at these clouds. It's such a beautiful day. Normally you would never want to shoot photos at 2 in the afternoon, but gosh, just these clouds are looking so good with the landscape. I just want to pull over and start shooting. But first, we're gonna go meet up with Kenny and Ryan. I'm sure they'll have some ideas on where they want to go. I think Ryan was talking about a canyon. Nat was talking about a waterfall. We'll probably do that one tomorrow. And you know, even if you're not going backpacking or off-roading, this place is just mind-blowing. Kenny and Ryan are behind us now. We've successfully got met up. We decided we're going to follow this road to my campsite. They're doing a workshop tomorrow, and they wanted to just kind of explore around a little bit today and see what we could find. So we're on this road going to our campsite, and the guys turned around, and Kenny shot that, what, last year? Year before last?
2 years. Two years ago. Yeah.
And he got lost on some random road, and boom, there it is. That's too cool.
Yeah, man. It's wild, right?
already got a little bumblebee in here. Hey. Hey, no, there's none in there. Go away. There you go. All right, he's gone. Truck did really, really well. Sounds like it's gonna rattle apart, but it did very, very well. I know those are just like some pretty basic creek bed style off-roading. It's real simple, like even a Prius could make it down this road, but those tires are awesome. I'm really happy with those. Pretty sure this is supposed to be wet, like right where we're at. We got camp and everything set up just in time for this awesome sunset. If you're ever out in the middle of nowhere and you don't have a tripod, this will do just fine. So it got dark pretty fast, but I did want to show off my kind of temporary little sleeping area. It's real simple. I just have this, it's like a universal waterproof dog mat thing. Works really well just to cover up. That's foam pad I put down, and it's not super comfortable back there, but I was fine last night. And any dirt or anything that comes in here, I can really easily get it off there. Natalie has the cool setup over here. It's the candles and all the patches. Little and a cooking station, and then this is dinner. When I camp by myself, I take MREs like all the time, but Natalie likes to cook food, so we have a lot of cooking food over there in the bear box. But it's a long day, so we're just gonna eat some MREs. Definitely gonna relax because I think we're gonna hike tomorrow. Maybe go try to find that waterfall.
Hello world, wake me up to another good morning, time to go. Got that smile upon my face, cause there's excitement in the chase, this I know.
Alright, so it's morning and Natalie requested that we show her truck off a little bit better than what we did in the parking lot earlier. And so you can kind of see the platform. So that slides out. Yeah, check that out. So that whole platform slides out and drops down.
Storage and side units. Made my tea this morning. Already packed up a sleeping bag, but this is
All looking for adventure. We are all looking for adventure. We are all...
So we made our way to one of the visitor centers and asked about where this waterfall is at, and she told us where to start this hike. It's between 1 mile or 5 miles. It's kind of vague. But on the way here, leaving camp, Nat got some really good photos of like this sage grouse or I don't know, like a quail, something like that. I got a couple just landscape photos that were really pretty. So right around this last bend, down there right in between these bluffs, we can see and a little bit of water running up on the side of the walls. So I think we're almost there. Look at this pool of water.
I know, it's so blue.
So this place is totally different than any other place in Big Bend that I've ever been to. It's super tranquil, and I talked to a few of the people that are here, and all of them also say that this is kind of, you know, not as an advertised sort of place. It's not on any of the trail maps or anything like that. And it's really similar to, there's a place called the Fern Cave in Caprock Canyon. Same sort of thing, you're in this arid wasteland and you hike back for an hour or two and then you're in this little oasis. There's frogs jumping around and little crawfish and stuff in the water. and it's so much cooler here. It's probably 20 degrees cooler than the hike, and I'm getting some pretty cool photos and things like that. I'm waiting for a few people to leave, and I'm gonna try to frame up a few of these shots. I didn't bring my tripod, but I did bring my ND filters, and so we're gonna try to do some long expo water stuff. Cool hike back to the waterfall, but we had to come up to the check-in station and extend our campsite. The one that we're in right now is fine, but it's a solid hour and a half just to get out back onto a main road. And since I'll be doing a little workshop this weekend in Terlingua, that's like another hour and a half. And you know, at 5 in the morning when we're done shooting, I don't want to drive like 2 or 3 hours back to a campsite just for the sun to already be up. So we picked a different one we're gonna go to tomorrow. And right now we're gonna go chase a sunset and see what that's looking like. But it's another beautiful day, awesome clouds. So while we were en route to the sunset location, we came across this spot, and there's just all of these layers that stretch forever onto the horizon. And it looked like this might be a good spot for a couple daytime shots. We have a little while to get to the sunset spot. Well, right before the clouds ate that sun, I got a couple pretty good photos. This was a really, really cool spot. I'm glad that we ended up here. But when you're in a place like this, it almost doesn't matter where you point your camera, you're almost always gonna get something cool. Then tomorrow we're heading to another campsite. Apparently there's even some ruins down there in the new campsite, some old dwellings. And the park ranger even said that there was actually a beaver dam if we hike down the river that's next to it. I don't know how far, but I think we might try to check that out before we leave too. That sounds really cool, especially in a place like this. I would not expect to find beavers. So, but after seeing the waterfall place today, you know, nothing's gonna surprise me.
With every passing day, there's more calling you out to explore. Get up and go.
All right, so it's the morning of the third day, and we're heading out on this little off-road trail where the campsite was. But the Hummer is doing so good out here. I'm very, very happy with it. Aside from it being just about as rattly as the Lotus, maybe even more rattly than the Lotus. Talked with Jeff, if y'all have been following along. He owns Black Label Speed Shop. We build all the SEMA stuff together. We drew up some plans for a custom roof basket, which I haven't decided if I want a roof basket with a lot of dry storage and then continue sleeping inside of the back, or if I want to just keep all of the storage on the inside and buy a rooftop tent. I think the roof basket would look really, really sharp and be pretty useful. I also want to be able to get on top of the roof from time to time. So I haven't quite decided what I want to do with that yet. I did get a text yesterday. The material for the Lotus has been delivered. We have all of our red Alcantara with custom CNC stitched hexagons. It's red on red, so we have red stitching with red hexagons. That sounds weird, but Eric, the technician that works for leatherseats.com, he said that anytime you do a really bright colored suede or Alcantara with a dark stitching, it just doesn't work. But if you've ever seen somebody that had some suede that was stitched, it just never looks as good as when leather is stitched. But I was really had my heart set on doing some Alcantara inside of the car, and he sent me some photos of it, and it looks awesome. But anyway, we're gonna get on down this road and see what today has in store for us.
I'm going for the ride and find myself, I am alive, and I soar. Still I run towards the wind and let the challenge draw me in.
Now we're almost to our new campsite. This is called Terlingua Abajo. This is an awesome drive to get there. We're right at the very end, and it came down into this really narrow ravine, almost like a little creek bed. So the ranger said there were some old ruins and stuff around here. She didn't say anything about car bodies. Check that out. That might be interesting to shoot tonight. It's really cool. Natalie's up here in front of us, backing into our spot. Yeah, so there's 3 little campsites here. They're hardly big enough for 2 cars though. Definitely not big enough for the Hummer and her truck, so we'll see if I can get in here or not. So today's sunset spot, probably can't even hear me, is Santa Elena Canyon, and it's way over there, and it's huge, and it's like the main attraction that everybody in Big Bend has to come see. We drove by and there's like 10 RVs and 500 people. It's probably the most photographed spot in the entire park. And so I actually told the lady that I'm teaching today that I absolutely will never shoot a photo of it. And then Natalie's like, let's shoot a photo of the canyon. And so this is what we're doing now. We're making our own trail. So if you see that one way out there in the distance with the brown top, that's not it, it's twice as far. It's past that. And there's a deer, there's a buck right there. Oh, and the weather's disgusting. Ah, God, it's so bad. We had 2 of the most beautiful days here, and the weekend shows up, and all of the touristy people from all over the planet show up, and about 5,000 bikers, and then boom, crappy weather.
Like a flick of Biscuit Rock.
Biscuit Rock. Check out all of these really round rocks. They're all very smooth. The landscape here changes so drastically. So the first little place we were on was just rock. Then we were on a mountain or a hill that was totally quartz, like huge chunks of crystals growing out of it. Then we were on dirt, and now we're on this really alien looking. You know what it looks like? They don't make them anymore, but the Butterfinger BB's candy. Yeah. Everything here just changes so quickly. Like if you come in from the Terlingua side, the geography there is totally different than when you get into the park. It's really wild how quickly it changes. But we're almost there. We've only hiked maybe 30 minutes, and this is the peak. So I went down there next to the lookout, got photo pills, and I walked all along this little ridge right here with my fingers, and I tried to line up where the sun's gonna be. And honestly, it's looking like it's still a little too far over. We'll see when we get over there. We did find a bottle, like a really old, interesting bottle.
Show them.
Yeah, there it is.
I found it.
It looks like ginger beers. There's a company that makes ginger beer. Everybody's gonna be like, that's not an old bottle, that's obviously a Sprite from 2003. I think the canyon is acting like a wind tunnel. Jeez. Almost there though. Well, there it is. Kind of see the road about right there. Nat's truck is right on the other side of the hill. Woo! I don't know if we'll get a photo. It's nasty. Conditions have not improved at all, but I was still getting a couple pretty cool shots. But oh my gosh, it is nasty out here. Woohoo! So it's the next day. We didn't get to do any of the astrophotography last night because there's a lot of cloud cover. We're hiking around, kind of around our campsite, and came across this cool old ruin. This is like old retaining wall. It looks like this is probably used to be a doorway. And then there's all of these old artifacts. There's pottery, a piece of a plow, and a shovel. bottle, and it's just kind of out here on the side of this hill. The river down there looks great. There's supposed to be a beaver dam somewhere along the way, and so we're gonna hike down there and see if we can find that. So after a short hike down here, we found the beaver dam. This is really crazy to see. If you've ever been down here, this whole place is just a desert. Terlingua looks like you're on Mars. I never would have thought there's beavers down here at all. And then we finally found all of the bluebonnets they're talking about. There's been a few little ones scattered throughout the park, but this runoff is covered in them all the way to the back. Beaver's been chewing on this tree, got all the little branches off of it. Okay, so it's later in the day now. It's about 6:30, and we are on the same little creek bed. We just mainly hung around and edited today. We didn't get out and do a whole bunch, but we wanted to come down here to the beaver dam when it was a little later in the day and see if we could maybe get some shots of the beavers. I don't know a whole bunch about them, so I don't know if they're more nocturnal or in the morning or what, but we've also seen a lot of tracks. We've seen deer and bobcat, and we're pretty sure beaver tracks too. I've never seen beaver tracks before. There's a lot of wildlife down here. When you think about it, this is the only water source for, miles in any direction, and so we're hoping maybe we can get some other wildlife down here this evening. That'd be really cool to see something. There's about 24 cougars that inhabit the whole park, lots of bobcats. We saw a buck on yesterday's hike, a pretty big one run off, and so there's a pretty diverse amount of wildlife in this little desert region. And apparently we're not the only ones. There's a guy with a video camera literally sitting on top of the dam.
I'm going for the ride and find myself, I am alive, and I soar. Still I run toward the wind and let the challenge draw me in, 'cause I want more. Oh, we are all looking for adventure. We are all looking for adventure.
So it's a few days later, and unfortunately we didn't catch any beavers that evening, but that was awesome. It was a lot of fun, and we had a great astrophotography workshop. The lady that came down did such a good job. This is the last evening I'm gonna be here, so we're hiking out with Ryan and Natalie to the Balance Rock. So we made it up here. That's a pretty cool shot. It's a pretty neat little framing right there, and this whole landscape, just like the other places we've visited on this trip, is unlike any of the other trails. We've seen rivers and forests and deserts and rolling plains. Natalie is somewhere. There she is. She's way over there.
Going for the ride and find myself, I am alive, and I soar. Still I run toward the wind and let the challenge draw me in, 'cause I want more. Oh, we are all looking for adventure. 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 We are all looking for adventure.
So I'm finally heading out. I guess that about wraps up this Big Bend adventure. We capped it off this morning by waking up about an hour before sunrise. We finally got to see those beavers that we'd been hunting the last couple days. I didn't get a really good photo, but I did get to see them at work, and that was really awesome, watching the sun come up and watching those beavers in the middle of this desert, you know, working and eating and swimming around in front of their dam. It was just a really, really cool experience. I know this has been a lot different than my most recent videos, so if you made it this far, I appreciate you watching. In the next video, we will have an update on the Lotus. Finally, we'll show off the material and hopefully get it to the upholstery shop in the next couple weeks. After that, we'll have it all back together, and then I am not taking it apart for a very long time. I'm going to enjoy it at least for the rest of this year. But anyway, I guess that wraps up this video. We'll see you next time.